Hello everybody, today we're going to do a descriptive composition about tree. So in each chapter we're going to do a composition. So this is chapter 1. In chapter 1, because the whole chapter is about trees, so we have to do a composition on trees. So trees as a composition is classified as a descriptive composition. Descriptive composition because there are many types of composition. A composition can be narrative, and by narrative I mean storytelling composition. A narrative composition is the composition where you tell a story about something, some person, some incident, journey, or so ever. But here we're going to do a composition about trees. So trees, this kind of composition can be classified as a descriptive one. So let me tell you one thing. Before doing anything, I have to provide an introduction about the topic. Any descriptive composition. So the first paragraph, in the first paragraph, you're going to write introduction. An introduction means you're going to give information about trees, and if somebody reads your introduction, he's going to know where are we coming from. Where are you coming from? You're going to give him a general idea about trees. So before doing anything, this composition is guided. So we have some guide. Like what? The advantages, and then the problems, and also we got the solutions. So we're going to write about trees, and we're going to show everybody in the introduction that trees have a lot of advantages and they face some problems, and we got to do something about these problems. We must put an end to the problems that trees face. So before writing the guide here, I would like to write an introduction first. We do have 3 subtitles here. A descriptive composition always starts with an introduction. In this introduction, you're going to tell everyone, you're going to tell the reader that trees have a lot of advantages, they face some problems, and we got to find solution for these problems. So an introduction always tends to give the reader a general idea about the topic. So the first paragraph is going to be an introduction. I'm going to leave a space. So you leave a space of about 1 inch. In writing, we always leave a space before we start. And this is called indentation. So we say, as we all know that. This is a keyword. Absolutely, we're going to use the present simple tense. In descriptive compositions, generally we use the present simple tense. We use the present simple tense. The present simple tense is recommended to do the job properly. Composition. As we all know that trees are useful in life as general. I'm writing an introduction. In the introduction, I'm going to give the reader a general idea about trees. Look at this. Trees have advantages and they face problems, and we got to find solutions. So in the introduction, I have I have to include these points in the introduction. These points, the advantages, the problems, and the solutions should be included here or in the introduction, because it's going to highlight and it's going to give the reader a general idea about the topic. So when a sentence is finished, you put a full stop, and then you start a new sentence with keyword. Keyword is also, and then comma, also, they what? They have a lot of advantages. I'm going to tell the reader that trees have a lot of advantages. Full stop. When you finish a sentence, you put a full stop. Then I have to tell everybody that these trees face some problems. So the keyword is but. But is the keyword, and it tells everybody that there is something quite different. Trees have a lot of advantages, but they subject, face, verb, some problems. Okay? In the third sentence, I'm going to tell you or to suggest how these problems can be solved. So, I always tend to start any sentence with a keyword. Keywords like what? Like, as we all know, also, but, so, moreover, furthermore, above all, add to that, in addition to that, evermore, additionally, and so forth. So, we must find what? Find solutions for these problems. Full stop. So this is an introduction about trees. If you look carefully at this introduction, you're going to realize that I have given you some information about trees, saying that trees are useful, and then trees have a lot of advantages, and they face some problems, and some solutions must be put to these problems. Okay, so this is an introduction. So everybody should know how an introduction can be made. The introduction is a piece of writing in which we give the reader a general idea about the topic. Okay? Then we're going to tell everybody the advantages of trees, which are supply us timber, firewood, nuts, fruit, source, fodder, source, medicine, bring income, hard currency, make the soil rich, create employment. So this is going to be a paragraph. We're going to write a paragraph on the body about the advantage of trees. This paragraph entirely focuses on the advantages of trees. So we call this a paragraph unity. A paragraph unity. We're going to write a paragraph, and this paragraph is going to be about the advantages of trees. You leave space like this. Every time when you write a new paragraph, you must leave a space of 1 inch, add an indentation, and then you start writing your sentences into present simple tense. Don't forget a sentence. Don't forget to use simple sentence. Keyword, subject, verb, object, full stop. Keyword, subject, verb, object, full stop. Keyword, subject, verb, object, full stop. Easy comes, easy goes. So, as I mentioned before, what have I mentioned before? I mentioned before that trees have, you see, the topic sentence can be found in the introduction. So each paragraph topic sentence does exist on the introduction. So as I mentioned before, this is a keyword. What have I mentioned before? Trees have a lot of advantages. Trees have a lot of advantages. Full stop. When I finish a sentence, put full stop. Okay? Keyword. First, comma. We always put comma after the keywords. And then we see supply us. Supply is a verb. Supply us with timber, firewood, nuts, fruit, source of fodder, source of medicine. I'm going to put these words into a paragraph, into sentences. So first, they, and they refers to trees. They supply with what? Timber and firewood. With timber and firewood. Okay, so I have written timber and firewood. I got nuts, fruit, source. All these things are supplied by trees. Also, they, and they refer to trees, give us, they give us what? Nuts and fruits. Nuts and fruit. Full stop. Every time when you finish a sentence, you put full stop. Keyword, subject, verb, object. Full stop. Keyword, subject, verb, object, capital letters. Keyword, subject, verb, object, capital letter. Fodder, source of fodder, source of medicine. Add to that is a keyword. They, and they refer to trees, the subject. They supply us with what? With, I'm sorry. They are source. They are source. Source fodder, source medicine. Source of fodder and source of medicine. Add to that, they are source of fodder and medicine too. Full stop. Then we have bring, income, and hard currency. Bring is a verb. So trees bring us income and bring us hard currency. Besides the keyword, they bring us They bring us hard currency, and income. Full stop. And we got create employment. Trees create employment. So create is the verb. The subject is trees. So subject, verb, object. Trees create employment. Additionally is the keyword. Additionally, they refer to trees, create employment. So this is a paragraph. So the whole paragraph, in this whole paragraph, we have focused on the advantages of trees. We put these words, this guide, into useful sentence, into meaningful sentences, and the whole paragraph focuses on the advantages of trees. Then we will write another paragraph, and this other paragraph, or this another paragraph, is going to focus on the problems that trees face. So in this paragraph, we write nothing but the problem that trees face. Let me write the guides. Cut for fuel. Cut randomly. Cut for fuel. Cut randomly. Cut for wood. So the problems that in this paragraph, I'm going to write the problem that the trees face. So cut for fuel, cut randomly, cut for wood. I'm going to write these guys, to put this guide into meaningful sentences. I try as far as possible to put these guys into meaningful sentences. And I got to know that a sentence always consists of keyword, subject, verb, and object. So before doing anything, I have to provide a keyword for this paragraph. So before doing this, I'm going to leave space to start the third paragraph. On the other hand, comma. Trees face some problems. Trees face some problems. So I'm going to write the problem that trees face. Cut for fuel. We can say people cut them for fuel. And also we can say people cut them randomly. And we can also say people cut them for wood as well. Some problems. First, people cut trees for fuel. Full stop. Please, you must write short sentences. And then, cut randomly. Also, they, and they refers to people here. They cut them, and them refer to trees randomly. As well. As well means two. People cut trees randomly. They cut them randomly as well. Okay? In addition to that, to that, comma, people do what? Cut them for wood. People cut them for wood. Okay, so if you look at this paragraph, you're going to see that the whole paragraph talks about the problems or shows us the problems that trees face. So finally, we come to the solutions that has been suggested or have been recommended to solve the problem that trees face. The solutions: replace trees people cut. Use efficient stoves. Plant trees on pathways. And finally, raise people awareness. Raise people's awareness. So many solutions have been forwarded or have been suggested. The solutions: replace trees people cut, use efficient stoves, plant trees on pathways, and raise people awareness. We're going to write a paragraph to suggest some solutions for the problem that trees face. So in the end, if I want to find some solutions, or if I want to suggest some solutions, you can say that you leave space every time when we do a paragraph. You have to leave space. I suggest. Every time, if you want to write a paragraph about the solutions of any problems, one of the ways that you can use is like I suggest. I suggest we can solve these problems by what? By replace trees people cut. By replacing by the proposition, and a proposition always followed by a noun, and here replaces the verb. So we have to change replace from a verb into a noun, the so-called gerund. We call this gerund. We add ing to replace to become a noun. These problems by replacing trees people cut. Full stop. Also use efficient stoves. Also, people can use fuel efficient stoves. Sorry for this. Efficient stoves. Fuel efficient stove. Use fuel efficient stoves. Full stop. And then plant trees on pathways. Moreover, the keyword, moreover, people can plant trees on on pathways. People can plant trees on pathways. And finally, raise people awareness. Finally, we should raise means to lift people's awareness. So if you look at the last paragraph, which can be named at the conclusion for this topic, we can say that always we suggest the solutions in this way. I suggest we can solve these problems by replacing trees people cut. Also, people can use fuel efficient stoves. Moreover, people can plant trees on pathways. Finally, we should raise people's awareness of the importance of trees. So this composition is called descriptive composition. As you noted here, we use the present simple tense, and we always have an introduction. In this introduction, we're going to give the reader a general idea about the topic. We're going to tell him that trees are very useful and they got a lot of advantages, but they face some problems, and we have to find solution for these problems. And as you've seen here, each subtitle here can be used or can be put into a paragraph. And each paragraph is going to focus on one thing. The first paragraph here is focusing on the advantages of trees, and the entire paragraph here focuses on the problems that trees face. And finally, we have to conclude our composition by writing a paragraph showing and suggesting the solution that we recommend, and we see that it solves the problem that trees face. Thank you very much indeed. Please, the more you write, the more you understand, and the high marks you gain, and the better you go ahead. Thank you very much indeed.